Good afternoon and good morning. This is Ben Chai, the Doctor Who of Business, coming at you with another Tuesday Property Special. And this week, as I said, is a tribute all week to the amazing Stan Lee. Now, Stan Lee was, as we shared yesterday, has impacted so many generations before and currently. And so every broadcast, everything I talk about this week, I want to mention Stan Lee. If he hasn't affected your life, I'm sure he has indirectly by your friends who like comic books and like the stories of the underdogs and so on. Now, as it's Property Tuesday, what I'll be talking about and sharing about is insurance. We do need insurance. And in fact, even in Stan Lee's days of writing, he would write about how, for example, in the Daredevil series, in the Punisher, if you like the Punisher, how some of the commercial business people would actually find ways to burn the buildings down so that they could claim on insurance. In the property world, we have several kinds of insurance. I'm only going to talk about three here that can impact you. And the first is contents insurance. That's a really easy one. So contents insurance are the things that are in your building. Yeah, mugs, whatever it is. In fact, I probably wouldn't get insurance on mugs, but it might be something very expensive like a computer. And contents insurance, you only need if you're going to live there or if you want to give your tenants an extra benefit that you're going to insure their contents. So if their contents are stolen from the house, or if there's water damage from the ceiling, that water comes through the ceiling and it affects the contents like the furniture, then you can claim on insurance. Now, most people in property, we don't get contents insurance unless it's an extra bonus to our tenants to try and give us an edge over, for example, other properties being rented out. The second kind of insurance, and I'm going to break it down into two, and this is the one that you really need, is the buildings insurance, the property buildings insurance. If you're buying cash, then you won't need it so much, but if something happens to the building, then you're going to have to fix it out of your own pocket. And properties buildings insurance are things like, for example, a tree falls on the building, or with the strong winds, a brick goes right through the roof. So this is properties insurance, and you really need that if you are going to get a lender to lend you money. For example, we're doing a refinance with a company called Kent Reliance at the moment, and they want to see on the insurance that the cost of the building being insured is $310,000, or else they will not lend the money to us to buy the building or refinance. So it's very important that you understand the kind of insurance. Now, with that being said, there are certain buildings that they will not insure. And one of the kinds of properties that I bought in my early days, and I made a mistake, was a building that suffers from what we call subsidence. And subsidence is when, like, for example, there's a tree that has grown under the building and it's caused the edge of the buildings to crumble, and perhaps the building might fall through. Who knows? So if a building is suffering from subsidence, it's very unlikely that you will get insurance on it. The same with what we call non-standard construction. And my daughter and I, we had a look at some properties that are non-standard. So non-standard could be made out of bamboo trees, for example. That would be an example of a non-standard building. Or ones that are made out of complete metal, sheet metal. So those are examples of non-standard buildings. And if you can't get insurance on them, then again, you must be, you either have to buy that in cash and you know why you're going to buy that. Or you could be a developer and you're going to knock down those buildings. So those are some reasons why you might do it. But if you can't get insurance on them, then you're not going to get any lender, and you really shouldn't ask for angel investment on that. Now, in addition to the property insurance, you may want integrated with your buildings insurance is insurance to protect you against rental voids. So that insurance is if you're buying a property in an area that, and you really shouldn't be doing this, but if you do want to take that risk and you think, okay, this is a great area for rental, but if I don't get any rental, then I can get insurance and protect my income from being eroded by perhaps a company goes down, the big employer of the area goes down. So that's rental insurance. That's very important. Now, one of my good friends, he's got, I don't know, 100+ properties, which he had in cash, and he didn't want to get insurance, because if you think about that, an insurance on 100 properties would be massive. So an example, a small 5-bedroom house, maybe a house insurance might be £300. So if you've got 100 of that, that's 30,000. And so he would think for himself, this was actually for boilers, that it was just better for him to not get insurance and just buy a new boiler if it went wrong. A boiler heats up the water and so on. So you may also make a decision about insurance, but only, and that's only if, okay, only if you have really a huge amount of properties. So that's one thing. Now, as you grow your property business, you may find that because you've got so many rentals, that some of the insurance companies will actually give you a discount. So you can get a volume discount depending on the number of properties you have. Don't ask me how much discount. It differs between insurance companies, and you've got to negotiate. I'm always teaching my good friends, negotiate for it. And so if you've got, say, 5 or 6 properties and you're using the same insurance company to insure the buildings of all 6, then you can also negotiate for some discount. My daughter Jessica Chai, she was very good at that, and she got me some great deals on insurance for our portfolio. All right, guys, so I hope you enjoyed this broadcast, and see you next week at some of the events that I'll be at. If you've enjoyed the property broadcast on insurance, please do share it with other people. And also, if you've got your own insurance questions, do post them below in the comments, and perhaps even some of your own adventures in property insurance. So this is Ben Chai, the Doctor of Business, signing off, and just saying, hey, if you enjoyed a lot of the Stan Lee stuff, so I started with how all the fights in the comics there cause a lot of damages to buildings and why it was so important to get it insured. But if you are interested in Stan Lee, please do Google him, because I think out of all the people I've ever seen, I've never met him, but I think he's impacted so many generations for the good. All right, that's Ben Chai, the Doctor of Business, saying bye.